I'm so pleased to have Kimberly Bowler joining us today. She's from an organization called Pure in Heart America, which is based here in Boston. Kimberly, tell us a little bit about your group.
So Pure in Heart America is a young adult community based in prayer and fellowship. And our goal is to proclaim the virtue of chastity as well as the sanctity of human life to youth and young adults. So our primary focus is to evangelize young adults who can then go out and speak to the youth about the beauty of God's plan for love and relationships, all based in John Paul II's Theology of the Body.
Which is what? Tell us a little bit about that.
Theology of the Body is probably John Paul II's, I may be biased, but his greatest work. And it really is just this beautiful journey through all of Scripture that reveals to us God's plan for all of humanity. And it reveals the deepest yearnings of the human heart, and that we're all made for heaven ultimately.
It's so important to kind of go at, this idea of talking about purity or chastity or, whatever words you want to use, when the culture is not saying that at all. And do you find that to be difficult, talking to kids about this concept that, that this is something that you can and should do?
Right. Yeah, a lot of kids, I think, believe that, abstinence or chastity, which are obviously two different things, but chastity, they often think it's the same thing as abstinence, that it's a no. But it's really an invitation to view the human person as a beautiful gift of God, whether they're male or female, and allow that beauty to draw you in deeper to God and be a reflection of His image. So it's really just a yes to a deeper type of love and a deeper way of looking at the world, especially other humans.
It seems like it's such an important part of the conversation that gets overlooked. We hear about young kids learning about sex ed in school these days, and, it's almost kind of like there's just two sides of it, either the yes or the no, without having this conversation that y'all are, introducing, which is the idea of like, here's why the church says what it says.
Right. Yeah, and I think that I think one of the best things about our mission talks that we do to the youth is that we are able to provide witnesses to them, whether they're people who've been living chastity, their whole lives or striving in that way, or people who discovered it after college, say, and have, fallen, but have discovered that it's not truly, what they desired and what fulfilled their hearts. So just being able to give that witness, I think, is so important, because they realize you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a perfect past, but we're all called to this deeper and more fulfilling type of love that is more satisfying.
Yeah.
So, the most satisfying.
I think that's so important too, this concept that if that's a way you've lived, you are still worthy and God can forgive you. But I know it's sometimes hard, because I think you get in this way of, people who kind of, that's what the culture teaches us today. Like, it's crazy to do anything but to live this way. Mm-hmm. And the fruit of that is not good.
Right.
People probably discover that personally.
Absolutely. And one of the best things about our weekly prayer meetings that we do with Pure in Heart is we have confession, which allows, people to come every week and realize that we're all sinners. We're all, falling in different ways, maybe bigger ways or smaller ways, but ultimately God's mercy is always there for us. It's always available. And we're always being invited to start over again. And it's, not meant to be a way to look down at other people ever when we speak of chastity, but rather just to realize we're all striving for heaven, and we all want, this deep love, this fulfilling love that only God can give. So
I think it's probably really positive too for people to find other people, young people that are striving to live this way, because, I think it would be very easy to feel isolated, like, there's nobody else doing this. I'm crazy for thinking that this is the right way to do things. Do you find that with your weekly meetings, that it's a source of encouragement for people?
I absolutely think that. I think that's, another beautiful aspect of our community is that we have each other. Growing up in, my teenage years, I heard the message, but I didn't have others to really walk with me, and that was really difficult. And so I love now that, I found Pure in Heart, especially, I think it was right after college I found it. It allowed me to just realize I wasn't alone, that there were beautiful witnesses living this out who were like, I felt like they were like saints witnessing to me at these meetings. And so now to be able to try to be that example and that light to other people coming from the same place I was at, I hope that it can continue to encourage them and realize that they're not alone. But I do think that having that is so important, because we need one another.
For sure. And I know the devil would love for people to feel isolated in the midst of this. And so what your group does is it really tells people, no, you're not crazy. You're not the only person. How can people get in touch with what y'all are doing?
So they can obviously come to a meeting. The doors are always open, so we welcome everyone that wants to come and learn more and pray with us. But also you can go on our website, which is pureinheartamerica.org, just to find out how to get more involved. And also you can go on our Facebook, which is also Pure in Heart America.
Okay. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You.
We appreciate all the good work that you're doing.
Thank you.